Hello everyone. Welcome to Surabaya Tales of Dread, aka STD. This podcast will prove that in Surabaya, it's not just a traffic jam and a heat that gives you goosebumps.
Yes, because sometimes the scariest things about the city is not the red light, it's the shadow behind.
Wow, seems like the new tagline is pretty scary stuff. So for the listeners out there, STD is a horror podcast that discusses horror stories in Surabaya. We'll discuss things such as haunted places, true stories, and urban legends unique to the city of Venus.
And it's not just rumors, Sometimes there's research, witnesses, and people who've actually lived experienced it themselves.
Here you go if you got the biggest noise is not just the fire for scary. But there's just one person who could go existing from the
Of the STD's team.
Oh, here we go. Hello everyone, I'm Dewi, also part of the STD team. I help with field research, but sometimes the research bring other things home with it.
And that's why in the episode we also share Dewi experience. So she not just the host, but she also be a guest speaker in this last segment.
So stay tuned because we're going to tour Surabaya, starting from the haunted houses, Jembatan Merah, and to the tomb that, unlike its inhabitant, is alive.
Alright, it's one of the most famous one.
Tasty. If you pass by there for more than 3 seconds, one insect will turn around and look at you too.
When talking about Surabaya, people usually think about the Heroes Monument, Jembatan Merah, or maybe Tahu Tek. But yeah, there's one place that has long been a legend of darkness in the city. This is the big house on Puncak Permai 2, street number 26, aka Rumah Hantu Darmo.
The house is beautiful.
But it is abandoned. The paint is peeling, the walls are cracked, and the surrounding area is like a mini forest. Even from the outside, it feels like a classical horror movie.
And they say this house used to belong to a super rich family who suddenly just disappeared without a trace. And that's when the rumors of dark magic started this place.
What's the most popular version is that the family performed black magic ritual, but didn't keep the promise to offer a human sacrifice. They substituted an animal, and well, the result was tragic. They saw the whole family die.
And from then on, the house was abandoned. Then in 1997, there was a huge fire, but the building was never completely destroyed. It was as if something was protecting it.
So even now, access is guarded by the South Pole PP, right?
Yeah, you can't just walk in. It used to be popular as a place to test your courage. Even YouTubers from out of town came. But many reported cameras broke, audio disappeared, files got corrupted. Like it didn't want to be recorded.
It's like an automatic rejection. In other words,
But seriously, even after the fire, the house is still standing tall. Like it doesn't want to collapse. And people around here say that now they often hear footsteps coming from the second floor, or a shadow of a girl in a white cloak standing in front of the gate.
Well, this is looking creepy. You must resistance that if you pass there by 3 seconds and indicate, well, you can wait to see if she will look back.
I don't know, But during my initial research, I felt the same thing, like someone was watching back, even though I was just standing across the street.
Okay, fix. Don't look at the house. Just look at your phone when you walk past through that house. It will be safe, right?
But honestly, what makes this so scary is just it isn't just appearance, but also because it is history is unbelievable. Would the memory was what is burned down, whether this is really black magic or just gossip, everything is still a mystery.
And that mystery is what makes the Rumah Hantu Darmo always on top of the mind of people here talking about Surabaya city tour.
Okay, guys, enough for bro. People keep carried away between my hand.
Next, I will tell you about my personal experience when I went to Peneleh. Which, to be honest, the effects didn't end in one night.
Okay, let's save the story for the end segment. So our listener will stay tuned until the end.
Okay, earlier we saw about Darmo's house, which is a never house. Now, let's look into the city center, a place that is known as originally and according to people, this is where the blood of struggle usually flows.
Yeah, the place is no other than Jembatan. A silent witness to one of the bloodliness battle in Surabaya in 1945, a place where the people of Surabaya fought viscerally against the elite force.
That's right. This bridge was built during the VOC era around 1743, when Mataram gave the coastal area to the Dutch through an agreement with Pakuwono II. So from the beginning, this place has been a center of trade, a place where rich people, Dutchmen and Chinese traders passed through.
Yes, and during the colonial era, the bridge connected Kalimas and the Surabaya Residency building, and it was economically very important, like the heart of Surabaya at that time. But after November 10, 1945, everything changed.
They say that the river under the bridge are dry. But because of it, it is good. That's why it's still called Jembatan.
Makanya disebut Jembatan Merah karena dicat.
And then that tragedy is also the origin why every November 10 we have US Day. But yes, even now, many people say sometimes on night around that date, you can still hear the gunshot or cries for help coming from the direction of the river.
Oh, I've heard that story, and they say the cries for help often appear suddenly in the middle of the night, and people passing by can hear them clearly, as if someone is drowning and asking to be saved.
Yeah, they say it's the spirit of the fallen warriors whose bodies were never found, that they are still, quote unquote, guarding the area around the bridge, searching a way towards the home that they never found.
I know. Because that was a prolonged ritual, right?
Yes, right on the sidewalk across from it. I immediately asked my friend to walk faster because it really felt like someone was following us from behind. And the further we got from them, the smell disappeared. It was like someone was really passing by.
Oh, I'm getting goosebumps, and I don't think I'll be passing through there at night. Like, I don't want.
But still, you can feel that vibe around Kota Lama too. all those old colonial buildings, all the tall windows, narrow alleys, dim yellow street light that flickers, and it's like every shadow has its own soul.
I agree. And when talking about places full of stories of death, but still alive today, there's one location that I don't think we can skip.
Yep, the old resting place that they say is never true peaceful. We're going to talk about Peneleh Cemetery.
And this time, it's not just myth, because Dewi has first-hand experience there.
So stay tuned because after this, we'll move on to the last segment, Peneleh, a place where spirits and history roll side by side.
Earlier we talked about Jembatan Merah and Kota Tua, but just a few away from here, there is a place that is older, quieter, and they say more alive.
We're talking about the Peneleh Cemetery, one of the oldest cemeteries in Surabaya. Even from the outside, it's very classic, with tall gravestone and European-style carving, and even statues like in those Gothic horror movies. And for today's episode, we have Dewi, our own team member, who has actually been there.
They say there's also a building there called Omah Balu, the House of Bones. It is said that the skeletons of unknown Dutch people were once stored there. So yeah, the vibe there is not exactly peaceful.
But interestingly, Peneleh is not just scary. It is also very important history. Many Dutch features and Dutch East Indies officials are buried there, and the surrounding area even witnessed the struggle of November 10, 1945.
And tonight we're not just talking about humor, rumor, or gossip. We have Dewi, our team member, who has actually been there.
Yeah, Dev, you said you didn't just go to Peneleh for content, right? Tell us, how did you end up there?
So, the story is funny. I actually didn't know I was going to Peneleh. I was part of a tour group, but I was only told the day before. When I arrived at the location, I realized, wait, is this Peneleh? The one they call the rest zone? Then I was like, uh-oh, because I'm a bit sensitive to the places with heavy vibes.
Wow, a surprise trip to a cemetery? That's exciting. And so, what was your first impression there?
When I first entered the area, I immediately thought, damn, how can be a mosque right in front of cemetery? Like, who would dare to pray in front of a Dutch cemetery at that time of day? But anyway, I just went with the flow of the tour. It was noon, but it was a bit cool. It was starting to cool down, but the air was very humid, like in a old hospital. The tour guide told us the history of the cemetery, but I felt suffocated. Like there was a lot of energy there watching us.
So, they say an old well there too?
Yes, it's the Majapahit well. I had a chance to chat with some locals there, and it turns out there are a lot of Balinese people living in the area. They put a lot of incense around the well. I asked, why so much, sir? Then the man just smiled and said, well, many people like it, miss, not just us. And he said that when the well was first opened, a lot of bones were found. The bones of the village elders. So yes, they really respect that place.
So it's like a place that is still guarded by two worlds, the living and the dead.
Yes, that's exactly right. Then, when I was walking around the cemetery, I realized that many of the graves had been looted. The gravestones were broken, the statues were gone. It's so sad because the Dutch graves used to be so cool, and strangely, the only place that felt comfortable was in front of the grave of the first pastor who came to Surabaya. The rest, I don't know, I cannot explain it.
So you said when you were about to leave, something strange happened. Is it that happened?
Yes, our supervisor suddenly said, before we leave, we should perform wudu first. He said that because the majority of those buried there died in war, and many of them were Dutch, so we would not be carried away. And honestly, when we left that area, my body felt light.
Wow, so it's like there's energy left there?
And what made it even more creepy was that the exit from Peneleh is a narrow alley. And if you look closely, you can still see poets marked on the wall on the house.
Seriously?
Yeah, there are so many. And if you pass by there in the evening heading toward Maghrib, the atmosphere is alive. But not alive because it's crowded with people. More like alive because many people once lived there. Get what I mean?
Man, that gives me chills. Just imagine the alley that was used to be used as a shortcut on November 10th. It's now still a road for people that are returning from work to home. And even though there might be still for those who are on patrol, so to speak.
And that's why the Peneleh is called one of the most alive area in Sydney. Not just because of history, but because the story isn't over yet.
That's right. Sometimes what makes a place haunted isn't just the spirits, but the traces of struggle and wounds that lingers in the soil.
And Dewi is a proof. She came in healthy and went home with a fever all day.
Yeah, seriously, my body was hot and would not cool down. Maybe too much interaction, I guess.
It's crazy. From the cursed Darmo house, Jembatan Merah, Peneleh, which is, so to speak, still alive. It's like Surabaya has two sides. The one that we see every day and the one that quietly peeks out from behind history.
Yeah, and what's interesting is all these places are still breathing with us. We walk down the street, hang out nearby, but sometimes we forget. These are stories that have not been finished there.
And tonight, it feels like we've seen Surabaya not just through the city lights, but also through its shadows. Wow, I'm being poetic.
Oh, but it's true. Every place we tell has witnesses, and not all of them are human.
Sometimes they just want to be remembered, like us, who want our stories to be heard.
There you have it, folks. The first episode of STD, Surabaya Tales of Dread, a podcast that invites you to see Surabaya through stories that are rarely told.
Okay, if you have a mystical experience in Surabaya, share with us in the comment sections and include your Instagram account so we can connect you with your if your story is selected for our next episode.
And for those who's listening to this in the middle of the night, sleep well.
Remember, every story has a witness.
Sometimes the witness isn't human.